how to have culture events that don't suck. Today on the Blue Collar Proud Show. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Blue Collar Proud Show. It's the show that's all about having and living the blue collar business dream. Taylor and I believe that if you can dream it, you can build it. And we want to be a part of that success. Thank you for joining us every single week. My name is Carter Harkins, and here's Taylor Hill.
You having a good week this week?
So far, so good.
Good.
You know, it's the hot dog days of summer, but, so long as I got a fan pointed on me, I'm okay.
It's so funny you say that because my wife has got our house. It is so cold.
Yeah.
I go outside probably 5-6 times a day when I'm at home just to warm up. It's like, I go to bed. And somebody, my chiropractor said, you know, it's summertime. You really should, take your shoes and socks off and just walk barefoot, around the house. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I got my shoes on and my feet are still cold when I kick them off at night.
Yeah. Yep, that's what it is. Well, I want to introduce our show sponsor at the top of the show here, Closing Commander. Closing Commander automatically follows up with customers about your estimates and proposals. In fact, we just recently had a comment that was left, a testimonial from John Caesar with Caesar's Chimney up in New Hampshire. He says, we love Closing Commander. It takes all the headache and guesswork out of following up with our customers. We've seen a drastic increase in our closing rate since we started using it. It's super easy and simple to navigate. Thank you so much for putting together a system like this. Well, John, we appreciate that comment, and you are exactly who we had in mind when we built Closing Commander. And that's right, Closing Commander is an app that we designed based on years of understanding what service business owner challenges are with regard to following up on open estimates. So it's your turn to do what John has done in his business to unlock the revenue that is trapped in that 3-foot stack of open estimates on your desk. Sign up today using the special link in the show notes or the special offers page on our website or in the special offers section of the app. And if you use that link, then your first month is totally on us. It's free. Get started today winning more of the open estimates in your business. Do it with Closing Commander. Do it today. Okay. So we're talking about something cool today. It's one of our favorite subjects, talking about culture, talking about how to really build that culture. But we somebody that we know who's the current NCSG president, which is one of the associations that we're members of and have a lot of clients in the chimney service industry. Jasper Drinkler is his name, and he told us a story.
It's great.
I actually saw it on Facebook and asked if he would come on the show to help to tell us the story after he did the thing. But it's just the coolest thing.
It really is.
Do you want to run the?
Oh yeah, get into it because you just got to hear this.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
We're gonna play the interview at the end of it. We'll come back and talk some more. Jasper Drinkler, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon.
We are excited to talk to you. You know, I know that you do a lot, and it's just, I don't know, you're a pretty cool guy. You got a lot of things going on. Not only do you own a service business, Chimney Mechanics in Shawana, Wisconsin, but you also are a member of a racing team. Is that right? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I've been racing just about as long as I've known about chimneys. I got my pro license 3 years ago. I've traveled multiple countries driving race cars, and it's a really great way to spend a lot of money with no return.
Exactly. A great place to put money that you'll never see again.
That's called a really good hobby.
Yes.
Yes.
That's cool. So you've got this racing background as well, but then I saw on Facebook, just because we kind of hang out in the same circles, and I see sometimes when you post, and I saw one of your posts talking about this race that you did with your team, or some of the guys on your team, with an old work van, and I had never even heard of this race, and evidently it's been around for a while. So I'm just wondering, can you tell us a little bit, first of all, about what the race is, and then talk about why you decided this was something you wanted to do?
Well, I'm extremely cheap, so I can't throw away anything that's still partially good. And in my service company, I always drive the crappiest, oldest work van because they seem to last longer that way.
Sure.
So good old van number 7 lost reverse last fall, and I had to put it out behind the fence where we put all the dead vans, where we scavenged parts off of them to keep the other ones running. And it sat there, and I found this race where you're supposed to bring a crappy car and try to break it. So there's water holes, there's water hazards, there's sand pits, gravel pits. There's all kinds of stuff that you're supposed to, drive through with a van and bring a winch and help each other out and just try to finish. And so a couple of my employees are into cars like I am. A couple of them actually have their own little race cars, and they said they wanted to do it. And they were shopping for a vehicle online one day in the break room and said, hey, I got an idea. Let's take the old work van. And they were like, no, we want something cool. We don't want that old crappy van. I said, we take the work van and I pay for the trip. And all of a sudden they said yes. So it's amazing how that works. So a couple of guys and I, we didn't take any of the vinyl off. We took the ladder rack off. We put a bed in the back. We outfitted it with a PA system. One of the guys is a smoker, and I don't let anyone smoke in vehicles when I'm driving. I'd rather just breathe tires, big smoke, and exhaust fumes from the cars. So we took it. We had an old top ceiling damper that we took off the house. I think we probably put an insert in. So we cut a hole in the roof of the van to put the top ceiling damper so they had a smoking port while we were driving.
Because you weren't going to stop.
No, it's a rally. It's a race, and I'm all about winning. I don't like losing, so we're not stopping unless we have to. We outfitted a 9,000-pound winch to the back of the van to the receiver to use as our reverse. So if we got stuck, we could just tie off to a tree and winch the van out. Or, if we had to back up to the parking lot, we'd winch up to someone else's vehicle and back out that way. So poor old van number 7 had 468,000 miles on it. It has never once left me dead on the side of the road. Other than basic maintenance, some brakes, a couple alternators, a couple radiators. It's killed about 10 deer in its life. This thing's been bulletproof. So we loaded it up on my truck because I wasn't going to drive it there. We welded up the rear end solid, so it howls like crazy and chews tires now. But that way, that's positive. And we drive out to Detroit. And they don't tell you where you're going to go until the beginning of the rally because they don't want you cheating or check. And you have to go to certain checkpoints and just take pictures when you get there to prove you were there. So we get directions to meet at a Walmart. And we got there at, 2 in the morning because I made everyone finish their work the day before. And we slept in the Walmart parking lot, which I don't rarely recommend. But the next morning when we pulled in, there were like another dozen or so crappy-looking vehicles there. And when we woke up the next morning, there were hundreds. In fact, they had 814 people enter this race.
What?
For the weekend.
Wow. A lot of old cars need to be killed.
A lot of garbage. A lot.
Wow.
Stuff that I wouldn't even drive, and I'll drive just about anything. So a lot of them were decorated stupidly, spray painted. They looked like a rolling circus. We got through registration. They gave us the course, and we set off. And, of course, what did we do right off the bat? We ignore the GPS because we think we know a better way. Yeah. So the first half of the day was touring around Detroit, going down roads that were flooded. We had to go see some dilapidated airport, an old harbor. It was a good time, and the cops were out in full force. They supported our rally. They weren't trying to shut us down, but they were enforcing the law of the land, as they should. Great individuals just trying to do their job. So we finish up in the city, and we realize that we're doing really good. We believe that we're in the top 40 cars overall, which, we're just going to be happy to finish this thing. So we get our next directions, and it's 160 miles of highway driving to the national forest. And we didn't really plan ahead. We left the truck and trailer back at the Walmart, and we just hit the road with this van. And we are passing cars left and right. The speedometer in old van number 7 hasn't worked in a number of years, and I may or may not know exactly how fast I was going when the local county officer decided to advise me that I might have been going a little fast. He was pleasant enough to let me pay my ticket in cash there on the side of the road and let us get back to work because we were all in chimney mechanics uniforms and outfits. When he pulled us over, he didn't realize we were part of the rally that they were trying to slow down. He thought we were just going to work. So we get another mile down the highway after meeting that very friendly county officer, and we see that they have every rally car, as far as you can see, pulled over and being searched for, whatever it is you're not supposed to have in a vehicle on a rally. We get to the National Forest, and we know now that we're pretty high up in the standings. We start hitting these ATV trails, and the van is performing flawless. It's not getting stuck. We're having a great time. And then we got to the sand pit, and we buried it twice.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture right now of what looks like the sand pit you're probably describing, and I'm just like, you've got the winch hooked up to the back. I don't know what you're tied off to. It's probably a tree or something, but it looks pretty much sunk to the axles.
Yeah, a winch is actually really effective for tearing dead trees out of the ground as well. We did some harvesting for the Forestry Service. We were allowed to burn fires at the camp that first night. So we found some firewood for everyone. That was a nice fun time. We forgot some camping essentials. I brought the guys in with me are young, and they think they're bulletproof, and I'm old, and I need my sleeping bags and my pillows, so I was a little bit more prepared. But that first night, the temperature got down to like 30 degrees, and everything froze, and it was miserable. But the guys had fun, and they want to do it again. I'm not sure that I really want to. It's not really my cup of tea. I'm a little bit more competitive. I want to win, and when it all was said and done, less than half the vehicles finished the rally. But I wanted a trophy, and I didn't get a trophy or an award for anything. So,
Yeah. Well, that's only half the reason for doing something like this, though, right? I mean, going into it, the trophy wasn't your biggest motivation.
Yeah, I try to keep my guys happy. If it weren't for employees, this business would be super easy and anyone could do it. So the guys I like, I try to keep them happy. I try to keep them involved. I try to find ways to reward them. It's amazing how you can't just reward guys by giving them cash or giving them a raise. There's so many of them that aren't motivated by more money. They're motivated by feeling like they're part of something or feeling like they're really appreciated. And so little things like this seem to go a long ways for some of these guys who just, it's great. He gave me a few dollar an hour raise. Whatever, It's all the little things that they really appreciate.
So I've got a couple of questions. Number one, do you know what position you guys came in?
No, that's part of the reason I wasn't happy, because I wanted to know.
Okay.
We don't. We finished every obstacle with that old poor van. It vibrated and it shook, and I had to drive about 30 miles an hour slower on the way home, so I was probably doing the speed limit compared to on the way up there. It was not happy, but it still runs. So we're taking offers on Facebook as to how to finish off van number 7. Some people just want to blow it up, but it drives great. I'd sweep it out of it tomorrow if I had reverse. It makes noise and smokes, but it's a good truck yet. But at our county fair, they have what they call a trailer race, where you put a boat or a camper on the back and try to knock each other's trailers off. So old van number 7 might go to the county fair before it meets its destiny in the graveyard.
I love it.
That's awesome.
That is so much fun. And talk a little bit about your guys and how this, because it was you plus 3 guys, is that right?
Correct. Yep. I brought 3 of my guys with me.
And you're all sleeping in the back of this van. I'm just guessing it's kind of cramped, and you're getting to know one another, right?
Oh, I slept in the driver's seat because I'm a control freak like that. But yeah, there was plenty of room for us to sleep, and it was so cold, I don't think they would have complained if they got a little warmer. It was freezing that night, and I felt bad for the guys that, forgot to bring the essential camping gear.
Sure.
Or look at, the weather forecast ahead of time. But it was fun. They laughed it off. I've actually gone camping with a number of my guys a number of times. Our service area, right now I've got customers in 7 different states, and some of our far northern service area, you're 3-4 hours away from even a hotel. So there's a lot of times we'll go. We've got a really large enclosed trailer that we take on some of these big projects, and we'll camp at the customer's house in the trailer. Which usually they're not around. It's usually a vacation property. So camping's right up our alley. Most of the guys enjoy adventures like that, and they'd rather work 16 hours instead of spend 8 hours behind the windshield and 8 hours working in a day. So, yeah, that was fun. There was nothing new or overly weird about it.
Sure. Well, it sounds like a great time.
Yeah.
When you make an investment in your employees like that, one of the things that we know is that, there's the payoff, which is, like you said, I feel connected to something bigger than just, a paycheck. I feel like this is something that, my boss really cares about us. He's investing his time. I mean, he could be at home with his family and his kids. Instead, he's here having a great time with us, doing this thing that's just crazy. And what a great story. And, I mean, if any of those guys ever left and went somewhere else, the stories they could tell about how awesome it is to work for you that's just, that's just great goodwill.
Yeah.
Well, one of the guys that came on the trip, I was the only employer he had ever had, ever. And he left about a year and a half ago because, well, I'm a tyrant and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm too bossy and he can do better someplace else. And I've been that age. I've been that little jerk of an employee. So I wished him luck. I told him I loved him. You're always welcome to come home if you change your mind. He told me he never would. And a year and a half later, he came back. This really wasn't all that bad.
Oh,
Sure.
He got a taste of what it could be like. And, when he came back, the chip was gone off his shoulder. He had a different attitude, and he's been more productive than he ever was in the past. And, I appreciate it. I mean, like I said, I've been that horrible employee. I know what it's like to always think that there's something better out there. And, but I have employees right now who are enrolled in college that I know aren't going to be around forever. I'm kind of in the people business. I've got one guy who's going to school to be a police officer. That's his dream job. I've got a retired police officer on staff. I've got a current police officer on staff. I've got a guy who wants to be a child minister someday, and this is just until the job opens up. So, I got over the fact that no one's ever going to stick around and be here forever. There's a certain number of years that I expect an employee to have a shelf life of. And I have to do nothing but shake their hand and wish them the best of luck in discovering their dreams. I mean, when I first started cleaning chimneys, that wasn't my dream job. It's definitely, this wasn't even plan C. It's just where I ended up. But, my goal is always to play with cars. All I ever want to do is be a mechanic, play with cars. And it turns out when you do it for a living, it's not nearly as much fun as when you can do it on your own time.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
Well, you've created quite a business, and I love your attitude with your guys and doing stuff like this to build the culture and make the job more than just a job. I think it's awesome. I really appreciate you coming on the show and talking about it.
No problem, sir.
Thanks. Jasper Drinkler, everyone.
Thank you.
It's such a great story.
I know. It's awesome. And the thing is there's so many people out there that when you tell them something like that, they go, yeah, what? Yeah. Mm-hmm. They just don't understand that there's so much value. And I want you to talk about that because you are one of the best people I know to talk about what in the world do you get out of cultivating your culture like that?
Well, we say on the show that leaders don't lead companies. That's a misnomer. Mm-hmm. Leaders lead cultures.
Right.
Because cultures are made up of people. People then make up the company.
Mm-hmm.
Cultures, when you lead a culture, the culture becomes the company. And that means that you have to be intentional about what you're growing.
Mm-hmm.
We can use the example of a petri dish, right? Talking about culture, right?
Right.
You can open up a petri dish, set it on the corner of your desk. All day long, people walk by. There's sneezes. There's things blowing around in the air. And then at the end of it, you just cap it and cultivate whatever it happened to snare that day.
Right.
And you're going to grow just this menagerie of really awful stuff in there,
mm-hmm.
right? But if you take that same, you take a new clean petri dish and you protect it from the stuff that you don't want to grow, and you only expose it to the things that you do want to see grow, then you can very intentionally cause those things that are important to you to start to flourish. So, maybe that breaks down a little bit because nobody thinks of anything in a petri dish being worth anything that you really want to grow. But
I don't know. There's some good moss out
sure,
there.
yeah, well, penicillin is part of most cheese.
That's right.
So,
there you go.
but that's kind of how we look at it is anything you can do that helps to facilitate and foster and promote the kind of culture that you want in your business is a good thing to do. And oftentimes business owners get so focused on, growing the business, and they think that every activity and every single moment, every breath that you take when you're on the clock needs to be focused on a dollar or on a bottom line result.
Right.
But the fact is that we spend more time with one another in our businesses. Those coworkers that you have, you're going to spend more time with those coworkers than you're going to spend with your family most weeks.
That's right.
Especially during the school year. By the time you're done at the end of the day, you come home, those kids are, ready to eat, and a couple hours later they're in bed. So you have limited time with your family, and you spend a lot of time on cultivating what you want to see in your family and planning those special things. But we treat our coworkers like they're just, well, yeah, they show up because I give them a paycheck. Well, yeah, but they want the same things that you want. And if you can help those coworkers in your business get more of what they want by creating a culture that promotes, those values that are a part of who you say you are as a company, then you're helping everybody there in that business to begin to see things as this is important. This is, I'm invested here. I spend the majority of my life in this business while I'm here. But the people that I spend it with all want the same things I do. And we all have a culture that supports one another and that does, that we share core values in those things. So those activities are important, I think. And finding ways to do things. Everybody's different. In our company, we would never have a road race, in an old van.
Yeah.
But we do some pretty cool stuff, and we have fun. We do these game nights periodically that are, usually a lot of fun late into the night. And, because we're very competitive, and it seems like that's one of those things that we really enjoy doing is playing games. Our culture, there's people that go out to concerts, that go to dinner, that, hang out in various places and do things on the weekends, just impromptu. There's that sense of, these aren't just my coworkers, they're my friends.
Yeah.
We love to see that. And we need to do an even better job, I think, of finding ways to grow the kind of culture that we want intentionally. And we're always open to those ideas when we can do it, and when our employees bring us ideas that are affordable, that's so. Let me ask you about that, okay?
All right.
Because you're the money guy, and there are definitely ideas for culture that are pretty expensive, thousands of dollars.
Yep.
But talk about, just put that in perspective. What in terms of the ROI? If we're looking at it just purely as a money decision, then maybe we're not getting to the real heart of it. But talk about it. Why is it worth doing? Even talk to the guy who thinks, I don't have the money for this yet. I can't do this yet.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that you can do that don't cost a lot of money. That we have in the fall, we have fire pit Fridays.
Right.
And so, hot dogs, hamburgers, we have a fire pit out, smoke cigars, drink bourbon, some beer, it's not a throwdown, everybody gets wasted type deal. But, we've set up a movie theater with a projector, out on the back of my truck, and put a sheet out and had movie night, around Fireplace Friday. Fire Pit Friday. So that doesn't cost a whole lot of money.
Right.
Literally it costs less than $200. So you're not talking about just tons and tons of cash outlay. And there's a lot of other ideas like that out there. You can have poker night. If it's a bunch of guys, you can have poker night. You don't put matchsticks in, and whoever wins, give them a $50 gift certificate somewhere. There's lots of different ideas that you can do that don't cost a lot of money. But here's the thing. it's to me, it's not the investment of money that really is the most important. It's the investment of time. Because even with our company, I am much closer to those people that have been in our business a long time because I've spent time with them. So my challenge is to spend really quality time with the new people, to do some of the things the impromptu things that happen during the week or on the weekends, that if I can, to try to participate in that, just to be able to be a part of that and spend time. And, to go to dinner, and I bought all the appetizers. It was $80. I bought appetizers for a bunch of people. We had a good time. Some of them went to soccer games. Some of us didn't, but it's the investment of your time, and they know that you are there and that you're taking time out of your day and out of your week or whatever and spending it with them because you really care and want to get to know them.
Yeah.
To me, that both the money and the time issue, huge.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about making sure that the activities that you're thinking about doing, and because, Jasper, I don't think every employee went in this van.
No.
There were a few that were interested in doing it, and so he did it with those few.
Right.
But in a business, there's also the need to make sure that you are doing activities that can include everybody.
Sure.
When people have family obligations and things like that, they can't always participate in the pickup, hey, everybody's meeting at the bar at 7 tonight sort of thing because of those obligations. So planning something that everybody can participate, or even family friendly, where they can bring family with them and it's appropriate for everyone.
We've done some park things
Right.
and on the weekends and bring people. We've also shut our business down and done some things as a group.
I was going to ask you about that. When you do something during work hours, then everybody who works there can participate because they're being given permission to stop doing the work.
Right.
And now we're going to have some fun.
Yes.
And I think that's something worth doing too. But from a financial perspective, I know a lot of business owners are cringing at the fact that I'm going to pay these people to have fun.
Let me tell you, you're paying them to have fun anyway, because hopefully they're taking lunch breaks and, their morning and afternoon breaks per OSHA guidelines that all businesses should be able to do. And hopefully they're having a good time at work. They're enjoying what they do. It's short-sighted. That is such a short-sighted view of the world. That's like my granddaughter coming. Or I'll just give you this is a really good example. So my granddaughter's going to be coming and visiting with me for a week. And so my wife says, "What are y'all going to do?" And I said, "Well, you know what? I'm going to have her help me with some chores around the house." And she was like, "She's only going to be here a week." And I said, "Yeah, but we're doing stuff together. I'll make it an adventure. We'll make it fun, And my wife is like, she's a 10-year-old girl. And I said, "I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's just me and her. We'll go out and we'll have a good time. I promise. And when it's over, we'll go have ice cream. We'll go, do it's a lot of it is in how you approach it, And so if you approach culture as, "Oh, this is taking so much money from me," you'll never have a good culture. "Oh, look what I'm doing for you." Never going to have a good culture. You have to approach it in the sense of, "Guys, you're worth it. Man, this is absolutely 100% worth it. I'm going to get so much return on my investment," because people think return on investment is all about money. But you get return on investment with productivity, production, friendship, loyalty. There's a lot of more return on investment that you should be looking at besides just money. Now, you got to have the money, you got to pay people, and I'm not saying that that's not important. But that is not the only important thing here. And so you have to open your eyes and see that there's a lot of other stuff going on when you talk about culture than just your bottom line.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from listeners. If you own a business and you have, or work in a business and you have a story to tell us about a culture building event or activity that you did with people at work that you thought was just particularly cool, I want to hear about it. I think it'd be cool for others to hear about it as well, to get some ideas about things they might be able to do. So share that with us in the Facebook group, if you would, the Blue Collar Proud Nation Facebook group. You can find that. Just do a search for Blue Collar Proud Nation Blue Collar Proud Nation on Facebook. You'll find the group, ask to join. We'll let you write in, hang out with us there. But, just jump in, post there. Just say, hey, I want to tell everybody about this cool thing that we did as a company a while back, and maybe here's a picture or something like that. I think it'd be great if we saw that other business owners find value in promoting their culture intentionally and doing things that they get a return from that may not be a financial return, but is a strong, powerful return in their business. We need to support one another in growing those kinds of businesses. So let's do that in the Facebook group. Let's see. Do I have other? Yes, before we wrap up, I want to just remind you that we would love to know from you how you think we're doing with the show. We get into these summer months and everybody's working hard and making hay while the sun shines and nose to the grindstone and heads down. And sometimes we don't hear from you guys, and we definitely, if you could just look up for a minute, go to iTunes, find our show, and leave us a review there. It would mean so much to us to know that we're bringing value to you and giving you what you need to help you grow your business. It means a lot to us, and it helps us serve more people. The more reviews we have there, the more attractive that podcast looks to the next person who comes along and says, you know what, I think I'm going to give this a try. So thanks for doing that. Also, don't forget, you can download our free show app. It's available in the Apple App Store or from Google Play, either one. It's got great content in there, lots of bonuses and special offers, just like that 1 month free from Closing Commander. That offer is in the app as well. So grab that, it's free. But most of all, just hang out with us over in the Blue Collar Proud Nation Facebook group. That's where all the fun stuff happens. And you can also find out about all the other places where you can connect with us by simply going over to bcpshow.com/connect. That is going to do it for this episode of the Blue Collar Proud Show. As always, Taylor and I want to just tell you that we really do appreciate you being in the audience every single week. We want to thank the people that make this show happen as well. Aaron Blaze, our technical director, Jessica Wynn, our show coordinator, Jonathan Sanders, our community manager. Until next time, remember that it takes the same energy to build a business that you hate, that's a ball and chain, as it does to take that energy and build a business that gives you everything you want in your life. So why not build it the Blue Collar Proud way? We'll see you again soon.
The Blue Collar Proud Show is a production of the Blue Collar Proud Network.